All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Pax8's Microsoft Monthly Update. Super excited to be here this morning. We are starting May 1st with everybody here. All right. I want to talk about our table of contents. We have our program update with Microsoft. We're going to talk about MCPP. This is a lot of stuff going on right now. I know we still have people on legacy. What does it really mean for MCPP? Devin Landrup's going to go through everything there. We're going to talk about Nerdio. So we have a Nerdio representative on, excited to hear a little bit more about some new things that they have going. We're also going to talk through Dynamics. We've got a special guest from Bamboo Cloud that is going to join us. And then Britton is going to come in and talk about Demystifying Defender. So make sure you stay tuned. Want to get through some of this content with you. But as always, I am Kristen Fehrenbach, the Senior Director of our Microsoft Go-to-Market business here at Pax8. You've got Devin Landrup, who is our Microsoft Program Manager. I don't know where that was going. Microsoft Program Manager, Devin Landrup. And then we've got Britton, who's our GTM Solutions Director. She oversees all security and modern workplace. All right. So from Nerdio, we've got Will joining us here in just a bit. And then, as promised, Bamboo Cloud, Miss Molly Moats will be here. All right, Devin, how are you doing this morning?
I am doing good. One second, let me share my screen.
Sounds great.
All right, can everybody see my screen?
Sure can.
All right, so I'm, like Kristen said, Devin Landrup. I am the Microsoft Programs Manager, and so we're just going to jump right in. So we're going to start with granular delegated admin privileges. So this is GDAP for those that have heard, and we've talked about this a couple months now. So we are going to establish this. So this is available in our platform now for the Pax8 to your end customer, and we highly, highly recommend this to give our white glove experience. This is going to help us being able to provision and support for your end customer without you having to do it. It is available in the platform for existing customers. You can go into the Microsoft Tools section and get that process. It's going to give you a link that you'll send to your end customer, and then they will be able to go in and accept that. And it'll give us access to their platform, and we can provision and support and do anything that we would need to do on our end. It is not mandatory for new tenants yet, but that will be coming. But it is highly recommended. And if you don't do GDAP with us yet, we still recommend to do DAP. You'll also want to go in and do this for yourself to the end customer. So you have access into their tenant to be able to help them with any support that they have. Next, okay, so GDAP, we are about 21 days out from when Microsoft is going to start transitioning people from DAP to GDAP. So this is going to be mandatory on their end. It starts on May 22nd. It is going to be rolling, so don't expect for all of your transitions to be made on the 22nd. It's going to go day by day. And then they are going to pause in June since it is the end of the fiscal year. So you can expect to see it in the last 8 days of the month, and then it will pause, and then it will start back up in July. So if Microsoft does move your partners over to GDAP, they will remove the DAP privileges within 30 days. So that will expire, DAP will expire with them. If you have already moved over to GDAP in our platform or in your own platform, Microsoft won't be removing those DAP relationships until July. So you've got a little bit more time before that DAP is removed if you've done it yourself. But it is the 30-day expiration for DAP if Microsoft transitions you on May 22nd or the 8 days after that. And over here on the right side of the screen are just the different roles that Microsoft is going to enact. So we have some roles as well, and you can view those in the platform, but we do highly suggest that you get GDAP established with your customer yourself, and then from Pax8 to the end customer, so we can be sure we're able to support. Next up, Azure RI. So this is a big one. So today, May 1st, is our launch day for the self-service platform. So we are transitioning to a self-service model. So this will give you the access to provision, support, change, upgrade, anything you need to do with Azure RIs and Azure Savings Plan in the Azure portal. So our catalog is going to change a little bit. So you will you will have to purchase Azure Plan in our catalog, and then you can go into the Azure portal to manage all of the RIs and the savings plans. So this goes live today, and it will shift from a bill ahead process to an arrears process. So you will see those charges come a month after you purchase the product instead of billing ahead. So this is a little bit about how it works and what's changing. So like I said, in the checkout process, you'll check out Azure Plan for $0 in our catalog, and then it will prompt you and explain how to do the RIs in the Azure Savings Plan in the Azure Management Portal. Provisioning, so you'll do everything in the portal, no more in our platform. Billing is where it gets a little wishy-washy compared to how it used to work. So April 1st of last month, so a month ago today, if you already had Azure RIs or Azure Savings Plan in the portal, that was the last day of bill ahead. So you paid for April on that April 1 invoice, or the April invoice in general. If you purchased Azure RIs or Savings Plan in the month of April, or you changed your subscriptions, you added some seats or anything, that is going to show up on your May 1 invoice. And it'll be prorated. So if you purchased in the middle of the month, it's prorated for the last 2 weeks and so forth. Existing RIs, well, like I said, you got charged on April 1 and still in the bill ahead platform. So now if you have an existing RI, you didn't change anything, you didn't add any seats, you will not see a May 1 invoice. You won't see your next invoice until June 1, because today we are switching to arrears. So for May, you will be invoiced on June 1. So yes, so any Azure RIs or Savings Plan purchased today and on will be billed in arrears, and you'll see it on the next month's invoice. And then with your PSA, we want to make sure you go in and you resync your PSA so everything syncs up correctly with the new RI system and the self-service model. MSRP. So we went over this last month as well, and it's been in our newsletters, but we just want to remind you guys that in the Pax8 platform, when you're with your initial order, we set the MSRP rate in the platform. Anything after that, if the MSRP changes at all, if you have any SKUs that are on promotional or special pricing, you will have to go in and change that in the platform. This is just because we like to give you the opportunity to manage your pricing and control that price for your customers, and so you can have control your margin for them. So these SKUs over here on the right are just some common ones that we have promotional promos for. So we just want to make sure you're going in and checking out your renewals to make sure your MSRP rates are correct, or if there's anything you need to change for your margins. FX changes. We with the FX rates, we talked about this last month as well. This is in the EMEA. So Microsoft is shifting to the foreign exchange rates. So they are adjusting pricing, and that started last month. So we're about a month in already. So these different currencies are going up at these different rates. We just want to make sure you're aware, and your customers and your partners are aware that at their NCE renewal date or their legacy anniversary date, these prices may change depending on what SKUs they're on. So if you're already committed, you're price locked until your anniversary date or your NCE renewal date. So just want to make sure if you're on annual or monthly commitments that we are paying attention to these FX rates and making our partners and our customers aware that the prices may change. Audio conferencing. Okay, so in 2021, Microsoft announced that audio conferencing would be included in the Microsoft 365 suites in March of 2022. So they didn't release it until March 1. So if you needed audio conferencing on your Microsoft 365 products prior to that being released, they put you on a 12-month promo. So to make it a $0 SKU. So when that was released on March 1st, 2022, it's called Teams Audio Conferencing. That was a free SKU, $0. So if you purchased after March 24th, you got the $0 SKU. If you purchased before, the SKU was $2.50, but they gave you that $0 promo for the entire year. So now, if you have renewals coming up or you need to move to the $0 SKU. We just want to make sure you're still in your cancellation window and you are aware that you need to shift from that Microsoft 365 audio conferencing to the Teams audio conferencing. That is $0. The only difference, the Microsoft 365 is $2.50 going forward, and your call out, you can call out to 44 different countries. The Teams audio conferencing, that is $0, can only call out to US and Canada. So depending on your book of business and where you're needing your call outs to be able to go to, you may want to stick on that $2.50 SKU if you have more than US and Canada. Otherwise, you can switch to the Teams audio conferencing for $0. But we just want to make sure we get that done at your renewal date or within the 7-day cancellation window. And this is just a little bit more about what's happening right now in 2023. Okay, let's move on to the Microsoft Cloud Partner Program. So these are the solutions partner designations. I'm sure you've heard of them when it went live in October of last year. 3 different Azure ones. There's a couple Modern Works and Biz Apps. And then this last one down in the bottom right, the solutions partner for Microsoft Cloud, is a newer one. So if you achieve all of the other 6, you get this 7th one as a bonus, just saying that you are an expert all around in the Microsoft Cloud. So how to attain the solutions partner designation. So there are 3 different categories: performance, skilling, and customer success. And you will see these in Partner Center, the different categories and what is needed in each one. So obviously performance is net customer adds. Everybody's going to have a threshold of how many net customer adds they need to have to gain points in this section. Skilling is going to be certifications, intermediate and advanced Microsoft certs that your team will need to get in order to earn points there. You do have to have points in each section. So in intermediate and advanced, you're going to have points in. You can't just have one or the other. And then customer success, and this is obviously based on usage growth. A minimum of 70 points must be earned with points in each category. So the points are based on each category. There's 100 total. You have to get 70 in order to earn the partner designation, but you have to make sure you have points in each section. So that's where it gets a little confusing, and you can obviously go into your Partner Center in the membership tab, and it's going to show you where your points are, what you need, how many customer adds you need, how much usage growth you need, what certs you're missing, who needs to get what. So this is a little bit about the offerings. There's product benefits. Obviously, incentives and rebates is the biggest one, and probably the one people are harping on the most in terms of getting their partner designations. Go-to-market services, so any marketing resources that Microsoft has, tech support, advisory hours, and then training and enablement resources. So obviously the product benefits and the incentives and rebates are the 2 biggest ones: your IURs, your Azure credits, your licenses that you use for your company. So the incentives and rebates, we'll get into a little bit more about that, but that's going to be the biggest one. So preparation and transition. So you want to go into Partner Center, review your partner capability score, learn about all the requirements. You can find the requirements in the membership tab, and there's also the insights tab that's going to give you a little bit more information about what you're missing, what they recommend doing in order to get what you're missing. And then we want to start working towards at least 1 partner designation. So at this point, you want to try to specify which partner designation you're either closest to, or, some partners focus on Azure, some focus on Modern Works. So pick whichever one is going to be better for your business. Okay, incentives and rebates. So how to participate. So you'll need to meet the following requirements, and the requirements haven't changed that much, really. So you have to be a part of the Microsoft Cloud Partner Program, which is the same as like the CSP program last year. They just changed the name. Silver and gold competency or MCPP solution designation. So this is your benefits package. So you have to either have a silver or gold benefits package or an MCPP benefits package. And this is what was talked about in October 1 of 2022, is that you had to qualify for the competency before October 1 and be able to get silver or gold. And then MCPP, it's same prices. It's the 1,000 one for silver and the $4,500 one for MCPP. So you have to be enrolled in a benefits program in order to get incentives and rebates. And then the revenue requirement, 25K USD 12-month revenue threshold. So that's trailing 12 months. You have to hit that revenue threshold in order to earn incentives and rebates. So once they're met, Microsoft will automatically send you an invitation in Partner Center, and that's going to show up in the incentives tab. It'll show up in purple or red, so you know, okay, I need to go in and enroll in that. I need to update my tax information, my bank information to get enrolled into those incentives programs. And once you're enrolled, you're good to go. All of your incentives are based on your sales, so you don't have to do anything else. All of that will show up in Partner Center, and then it will be deposited as an ACH to your bank account. So October 1, 2023, so coming up in the next 6 months or so, you will have to have a partner designation in order to earn incentives. So this is where we get a little, this is why we're harping so big on focusing on one partner designation right now, because you only have to have one in order to earn incentives all around. So pick which one is your most attainable and do everything you need to do in order to get that partner designation. So on October 1, you don't lose your incentives and rebates. Okay, so the CSP reseller legacy. So this is the old program. So these are your CSP SKUs, and any old legacy SKUs that have an NCE counterpart. So Azure, Modern Work, Dynamics, any of those SKUs stopped earning incentives on December 31st. And we've probably hammered this into your brain 8 million times, but just want to reiterate that those have stopped earning. So if you're still on legacy SKUs and you have the opportunity to move to NCE, we recommend doing so, so you start earning incentives again on those SKUs. Now, anything that didn't have a counterpart, so your nonprofit, your education, government SKUs, those don't have NCE counterparts, so those are still earning. So you can stay on those legacy SKUs for as long as you need and still earn incentives there since they don't have an NCE counterpart. So all of the NCE SKUs are now earning under MCI, the Microsoft Commerce Incentives. And you can see this in your Partner Center. Your incentives will show up under MCI or they'll show up under CSP, so you can see which ones are earning where. So MCI is basically the same thing. They just changed the name, and this is where all of your NCE SKUs are earning. That was effective January 1. So let's move on. So these are the Microsoft Commerce Incentives rates for you. They haven't really changed since last year. So if you want to screenshot this page, it's also available at the link at the bottom for Microsoft, but these are the reseller incentive rates that you'll be earning on your sales. And the core, so I'm sure most of you know, but they're split between rebates and co-op. So you earn 60% rebate and 40% co-op. So your co-op is your cooperative marketing funds. The rebates will go straight to your bank account. They're deposited. You don't have to do anything. They just show up free money for making sales. The co-op goes into a bucket in your incentives tab in the co-op management portal, and you have to hit a $10,000 threshold in that portal in order to use that money. So if you hit $9,999, you don't have to do anything. That money is just going to go into your bank account, no problem. If you hit $10,000, this is where you can use that money towards marketing activities. So there's a whole guidebook on the Microsoft resource page that shows you what you can spend it on. You can spend it on digital ads, social media ads, certifications. You can use that money towards certs to achieve your partner designation. So there's an 86-page handbook that gives you all the options on what you can spend that co-op money on. And I see Kristen just jumped on screen, so I'm assuming she has a question for me.
All right. I was letting you get through all of your content before we started going with some questions. And you know what, if you don't mind, I'm going to take this first one just because we've got a few people that are really talking about with MCPP, they might have worked with really small businesses that are under 11 licenses, or they don't have enough people to hit the actual certification requirements. This is feedback that we continue to give to Microsoft. And I just want to reiterate that to everybody that is on right now that, you know, there is an SMB track, but we need another option. as well. So we continue to give this feedback directly to Microsoft that for these partners that deal with the very, very small SMB, that we need something for them. So I did want to just call that one out. Devin, for you, we do have a question from Rich, and he's asking, so if we renew at Silver, will we still receive payouts from incentives and rebates for the next 12 months? And I just want to make sure we hit on when they needed to and what does that mean for them?
So unfortunately not. So if you renew Silver, you will earn until October 1, but October 1, everything is switching over. So if you renew Silver and you achieve a partner designation, you will continue to earn on October 1. So it's if you renew Silver and you don't quite get to that partner designation by October 1, you will stop earning incentives. Now, say October 15th, you hit all your requirements, you earn that partner designation, you'll start earning incentives on October 15th. You know, so it's just, they're really harping on getting at least one partner designation by October 1st to continue to earn incentives. So.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you so much. And I want to go back because we had a couple questions coming in about RIs, and I think that this one's important. So existing RIs will just move to the portal, or how does that work?
So they're in the portal already. It's just our catalog is changing, and Ashley, you may be able to help me out with this one, but as of right now, people with existing RIs don't have to do anything at this point. There's no action items for them.
Yeah, I'll jump in. I'll jump in here. So if you do have an existing RI or currently purchased with Pax8, those will remain in the Pax8 marketplace or Pax8 platform, as you may also know it, and we will leave those there. So if you do need to make any changes to those, that will be done in the Pax8 marketplace. We will then evaluate at a later date on when to move those existing subscriptions to the Azure portal and link those onto an Azure plan. So the changes that are going live today with self-service are just for brand new orders that are made starting today. Those will be in the Azure portal on an Azure plan. Anything purchased prior to today will remain in the Pax8 marketplace, and you will go there to make changes. And then we will then again notify with a 30-day notice of when we will move those and what that process will look like.
Excellent. So while I have our programs team here, I want to make sure that we hit on this one too, because I think it's important to understand, you know, I know we talked about Microsoft is going to be doing the transition from DAP to GDAP. There's that looming date. It's super close. Should we just wait for Microsoft to do that, ladies, or should these partners get proactive and act before this date? What is the best case scenario?
I think we are always going to push for our partners to be proactive and get it done as soon as possible, because with Microsoft only doing these transitions for 8 days before they pause for the month of June, you don't know if your customers are going to be included in that, because obviously the Microsoft business is so large. So we would recommend to go ahead and go into our management in the Pax8 marketplace and the marketing tools, go ahead and get that done on our end. Just so you're already prepared and you're not on pause for the next couple months, and you don't have that access, or we don't have that access to assist your customers the way we need to.
Yeah, and to touch off of that, it's if you don't make the change, you will remain on DAP until Microsoft moves you. But Microsoft is going to move you to their set of default roles, and you or your customer may be discussing a different security policy and posture that you guys want to adopt, same as Pax8. So we've said that we need a certain amount of roles to be able to support your end customers, and that's actually more restricted than what Microsoft is offering, meaning we have it it tied down into a more granular level. And that's because security should be top of mind, and we want to make sure that we have only access into the tenant where we need to and who needs to. So by you taking proactive measures, like Devin said, and doing it ahead of time, you're able to control your security policies and your security posture between Pax8 and your end customer, and between you and your end customer. If you wait for Microsoft to do, you're adopting their security recommendations, and that may not align with your practice.
Excellent, excellent. Well, ladies, please hang out for a little bit because we will have some more questions for you, I'm sure, in the Q&A. But thank you so much, Devin and Ashley. So now I am happy to introduce our guest. We have Will from Nerdio. Thanks for joining us today, Will.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Excellent, excellent. So if you want to go ahead and share your screen, please feel free and we can kick off your session.
Fantastic. Let's see if I can figure out Teams here on Monday morning. Hopefully it's showing now for everybody.
We have you. We are sending it live and we are ready to go.
Fantastic. Thank you again. Well, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Will Ominski. I lead MSP sales here at Nerdio, and I want to spend a little bit of time talking about some of the newer features that we can help you out with in terms of your advancement in the Microsoft ecosystem. So I always like to start with Nerdio's mission. It is to empower managed service providers to build successful cloud practices with Microsoft Azure. And I think with some of the updates you just heard, these quotes from Satya, the CEO of Microsoft, are very fitting and timely. We are living in a fast-paced world where technology is changing, and as managed service providers, we really need to keep up with it. Whether we want to or not, the world is changing, our customers' needs are changing, and we all live in a Microsoft-centric world. And that's really where Nerdio has come out with this new feature set where we can help you with the management of some items within the modern work program with Microsoft. Intune is where we are launching this. We just did actually last month. And if you're not familiar, it's a set of technologies that allow you to securely manage identities, applications, as well as devices. I talk to a lot of MSPs who don't necessarily fully realize all of the capabilities of Microsoft Intune. So it is more than just mobile device management, for example. One thing that you might be thinking if you're newer to Intune, or some of those of you who are using Intune to manage your customers today maybe already realize some of these benefits, but it is included in your business premium SKU. I find many MSPs, most of the ones that I talk to, are pushing business premium with their customers. And so you already have this feature set included with it. Not everybody's using the full capabilities though. And what I love about this from an MSP standpoint is it can augment or replace some other tools that you might be using. We did a recent survey here at Nerdio and found that most MSPs are using somewhere around 37 tools in their stack. And a lot of them want to try and consolidate that to make them more monthly recurring revenue, make things easier, maybe reduce attack surfaces. So there's a whole bunch of different reasons why you might want to do that. And then I think, lastly here is Microsoft is constantly innovating. There are new updates and features and capabilities within the Intune and Modern Work suite that are coming out every single month. This is not a stagnant MSP tool that you can use. We're constantly going to get updated with that existing SKU that we are already buying for our customers. Now, I'm going to go to my next slide, but it is probably the ugliest slide I've ever produced because it's hard to read and there's so many boxes on here. But it's also critically important when you're thinking about modern work and Microsoft 365 because it helps illustrate all of the items that you get out of that business premium SKU. Again, we find most MSPs are only scratching the surface of the things that are included with that business premium SKU. I'm not going to dwell on this ugly slide for too long, but again, I hope it helps illustrate all of the capabilities of this very powerful tool from Microsoft. What I am going to focus on, though, are some of the items that are included with Microsoft Intune and that business premium SKU, whereas an MSP, if you're not using them, you can get some pretty quick wins and start enabling some of these features to really be able to provide benefits to your MSP and to your customers. On the top left here, I have compliance assessments. These are built in to this business premium SKU. In the center at the top, decommissioning domain controllers. We are having tons and tons of conversations with MSPs looking to go this way. If you think about it or look at your existing customer base, my guess is it looks very different the way that they work today versus 3 years ago. We're seeing more and more customers want to have some type of hybrid work functionality within their organization. They're not all always in the office. And we need policy and domain controllers, group policy, to be able to manage security and permissions across those users. But it gets harder and harder as people are not as tied or tethered to the office. Microsoft Intune, through some of their identity management, you can now do what's called Intune policies, which in many cases can fully replace those traditional GPOs that we're used to. This is where we are going to start innovating and evolving and not doing things the way that we always have. And for those customers, we can now reduce their server footprint, especially as those servers become end of life. We can get rid of those. We can join our physical devices to Azure Active Directory and then still maintain security and compliance and control over those users and devices through those Intune policies. So you as the MSP can charge the same amount that you always have been, but now you have one less server to manage. You have less tickets coming into your support desk because we don't have to have those machines connecting through a VPN or maybe coming into the office once a month so they can get those new policies. You also have some very powerful features through Defender, like endpoint detection and response, like Defender for O365. We're talking anti-malware, phishing, compromise. And then you also get kind of that zero trust security throughout everything that you're doing with Microsoft. So again, those of you that either are using Intune or that are not, I think there are some really, really great wins and some things that you can do very quickly to add additional value to those existing customers, especially if you're already selling them business premium. I mean, why not enable some of these things and start using it so we can start to modernize our MSP as well as our customers. And that's really where Nerdio comes in. So for anybody who has not seen some of this new functionality with us, you're probably familiar with Nerdio more on the Azure infrastructure side. That's really what we've done since our inception, helping you manage Azure networks and servers and virtual desktops. But this year, we are making a very strong push to broaden the scope of services we can help you out with as an MSP, because maybe not every customer needs a server hosted in Azure. Maybe not every customer needs an Azure virtual desktop or a Windows 365 cloud PC. But I could argue that every single one of your customers needs things like content filtering, like assessments and reports on their physical devices or managing applications there. And that's really where Intune comes in. We also can help out with some of those things around Azure AD and the identity management, as well as a little bit with their 365 licensing. And then later this year, we're going to go very deep with security, specifically Microsoft Defender. Now, we take a slightly different approach or view of the world because we are MSP centric. I wake up every single morning thinking about how I can help an MSP get better and be more efficient with their business. And so what the Nerdio product does is it introduces capabilities that are not really there in many cases out of the box with Microsoft. So we can help you not only with these things, but with a multi and cross-tenant approach. What that means, and I'm going to show you it in a minute, you can do something like create a beautiful, pristine policy for endpoints or for your users in Intune, and then you can just click a button and push that out to all of your customers. In the native functionality today, what happens is you create that policy for customer A, you make it all pretty and nice and shiny, and then you have to log into customer B's tenant and you have to recreate it. That introduces risk. That also increases the amount of labor time and support potentially, or issues that might come in to managing that, because everything is one on. With Nerdio, again, you can do it once and push it out multiple times. We're trying to help simplify and streamline your management. I'll show you in a minute, but we have pre-built Intune policies, ones that we've created for you, so you don't need to spend a whole bunch of time creating those, maybe if you're brand new to it. You can also import your existing policies, so you don't have to recreate them from scratch. If you're already deep into Intune today, you can very quickly and easily import your existing policies. And really, this is all designed to help enhance your margins. And then lastly, we're introducing some things that are workflow powered. Everything within our portal, you can build MSP workflows for. What this means is you can give your tier 1 techs the access and the ability to make changes for your customers, whether it be in Azure infrastructure or Intune or even Defender. But those changes might not actually happen until a manager approves them. This way, changes to your customer environments do not happen in a bubble. So now if I am that Intune engineer or that Azure infrastructure engineer and I want to go on vacation, I can give the keys to the kingdom and allow other techs within my organization to make those changes. And I know that somebody, maybe even myself, is going to get an email notification requesting that this change take place, and I have to either approve it or deny it. And then lastly, at the bottom of my screen, we are much more than just software. We have some amazing people and programs here at Nerdio to help you with your success within Microsoft and Azure. So we have things like trainings and certifications. I'm actually getting on a flight later today to go do an in-person training all around infrastructure and Intune down in Houston. We're running these all over the world this year. We help out with infrastructure and architecture and costing, so we can help you determine what your customers need based on their specific scenarios. We have something called Nerdio Go Live Engineering. We don't just say, here's your software, good luck, figure it out, read our documentation. We give you an engineer from our team that is going to help walk you through getting this all set up and making sure that you can deliver on the promises that you make to your customers. So lots and lots of things that we can help you out with. We will even review those environments once they've been up and running. So lots of items. And you don't just have to take my word for it. We've actually done a test where we had a very highly certified Azure and Intune engineer, and then we had a non-highly certified Azure and Intune engineer do the exact same tasks. One was native in the Azure and Intune portals, and the other one was using Nerdio automation. And you can see here, we can greatly reduce the amount of labor time it takes to do common changes and updates and management tasks for your customers. So even if you have a very, very big Intune or Azure practice and you have engineers that are certified, we can save you considerable amount of time and reduce that risk. So that way those highly certified engineers can maybe do other tasks that are more revenue generating for your organization. We also do that on the cost side. So this is an example for infrastructure around virtual desktops. I know it's a little bit busy, but at the very top here, your cost per user for infrastructure is $33.64. This is an unoptimized cost out of Azure. This is just paying for everything and leaving it all on. We can help you optimize that cost. If you follow all of our guidance, we can reduce that cost down to $10.60 per user per month. A 68% savings off of that normal rate of not using a tool like Nerdio and optimizing those costs. So we're going to save you real money within Azure as well as real labor time. So let's see it in action. Instead of just looking at some slides, I want to jump into the tool real quickly here and show you what it looks like. This is the Nerdio tool. When you first log in, you get to our global view, your MSP level, where you can see all of your accounts under management, and you have global level options that you can do here on the left. Again, we want to keep introducing features that do not exist in Microsoft and things that will greatly help managed service providers. One of them is creating custom global views. So if I'm an Intune engineer, I can log into the Nerdio portal here, and I could go to my all Intune device global view, and now I can see all of my devices under management across all of my customers in one place. This will allow me to figure out maybe where I need to spend my time this morning. I can see I have some areas of risk for this device within this customer. I can see this other customer, everything is green and we're good to go. I can also do things under the Intune tab. These are the global policies. So again, we've created some that we give you right out of the box. You do not need to go create them. And so these are some of those policies here. We can customize the start menu and deploy custom wallpapers and disable your advertising ID. So it's as easy as finding one of these policies that I want to use with one of my customers, either a pre-canned or one that maybe I've imported. And then I can simply click on it to assign. I will choose which customers I want to assign this to, maybe all of them. I'll hit confirm, and then I can decide to apply it once, or I can have Nerdio keep that policy in sync with all of those devices I'm pushing it out for. So again, sometimes devices fall out of sync for whatever reason, and we can continue to make sure that they stay enforced. This becomes very, very powerful when you start looking at things like compliance. We're talking about compliances out there that your customers fall under, like HIPAA. We can make sure that they stay within compliance with those Intune policies. Security baselines, it's another type of managing policy for those customers. We can force BitLocker for things like removable disks or fixed disks. You don't have to go there and figure it out. I also talked briefly about things like workflows. So here's how we are going to protect those maybe lower level engineers that are just getting started with this. So there's some oversight. I can take my task categories, things that will change the cost for Azure or Intune, things that are destructive. We've built these pre-canned groupings of tasks that your engineers might need to do. And if I click on it, I can see all of the items in here. I can edit it. I could add additional items to this. But then once I have my categories all built out, I can create my approval rules. I can say, well, Will's the sales guy. If he comes in here and does anything for an Intune action, do not let it happen, because he might not know really what he's doing. So go ahead and send that to a manager, somebody smarter or more technical than him, and they have to approve that final task. And then lastly, we can send you notifications to your ticketing system. You can build out different conditions in here. These could be Intune conditions, devices falling out of sync, for example, pushing a policy and it doesn't work. It could be around infrastructure, really anything that you can do in our portal, and let that task happen, but send me a notification of it, maybe if there's a failure or something like that. So lots and lots of powerful things, right, built into our portal out of the box. I want to finish up here with kind of where we sit within the ecosystem. So in the center of our universe is always, always, always the customer, from my point of view at least. They have their servers and their devices and their 365. And then we have you, the MSP, surrounding those customers with value. You're protecting them from all that scary, complicated IT stuff that they don't understand. And Nerdio is simply a tool in your toolkit to help you manage this, to reduce your costs, to reduce your labor, to reduce the amount of skill set that your team needs to have so you can quickly start adopting these Microsoft technologies. Our pricing is very straightforward. It is based on named users per month. You either have virtual desktop users or you have Intune only users, which would also include Cloud PC, Windows 365. For Intune, we start at $3 per named user per month, and we go all the way down to 75 cents per user based on your volume. I mentioned earlier, I will be going down to Houston later this afternoon, and we are doing 2 full days of training for MSPs out there. We call it Building the Modern Cloud MSP. We're talking Azure, we're talking Intune. We do both a full sales day, what questions to ask, how to architect this, how to price it, how to package it, how to run demos, and then we move right into a full technical day, how to provision these customers, how to migrate them over, how to support them, what are those common support tickets that come into your help desk, and how would I solve those tickets using the Microsoft stack. So this QR code here, if anybody's interested, will get you to our registration page. It is completely free. I'm not selling anything here. There is no cost to attend. Not only is it free to attend the camp, we'll pay for your hotel room. We pick up your breakfast and lunch. So we are so confident that this is the way the world is moving and that we can help you out, that we are willing to put our own money behind it to host you at all of these locations. You can send as many texts or salespeople as you would like to. Your only cost really is going to be your travel to get to one of the locations. So hopefully that is minimal, where we have enough of them and you don't have to go far. So with that, I believe my time is just about up here, but I just wanted to talk quickly about some next steps. I highly encourage you, learn, right? Go to our training camps, go on our website, take the online certifications, get with your Pax8 reps and have them help educate you on your specific customer scenario. Get with us or Pax8 and we will help you plan what this might look like for your first or 10th customer, whatever number you're at. And then we will help you with the full deployment and adopting these technologies and using them more broadly. So with that, I will stop, and I don't know if there's any live questions or not, but I'm happy to hang out and I'll stay in the chat as well.
Thanks, Will. I think we have a couple on the back end for you, but we'll leave those if you could message them directly. Thank you so much for your time this morning. Devin and I are both based out of Houston, so maybe we'll see you. I now get to introduce Miss Molly Moats from Bamboom. How are you doing today, Molly?
Hey, good. How are you?
I am doing well. Go ahead and share out your screen and we can get on going.
Can you see that okay?
Hold
on, let me try one more time.
Yeah, try one more time.
Did that do it?
It looks like we are ready to go. Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. Okay, thanks. Okay, cool. Hi, all. I'm the sales director for North America over at Bamboom Cloud, and we're really excited to start working with you all through Pax8. So today I just wanted to go over what professional services we can offer to your clients through Pax8, and then just go over the process for how to start working together. So Dynamics 365 can mean a lot of different things, similar to how Microsoft 365 can maybe mean Word, Excel, PowerPoint, etc. So we focus on these small to medium businesses applications that Microsoft offers within this Dynamics 365 suite of products. So those are really going to be the two in the middle of the screen, Sales Professional and Business Central. So what do each of these mean? I'll start with Business Central. In a nutshell, it's an ERP system, but to put that into more common language, it's a system that can do a company's accounting and operations. So it can handle financial reports, journal entries, but also sales order, purchase orders, and tracking a company's item list maybe, and tracking inventory on hand. It can also handle more complex things like an assembly or a bill of materials, or even the full warehousing components that a business needs. It is also industry agnostic. So companies that do more maybe professional services rather than buy and sell goods, it can track projects and timesheets and billable hours to be able to put that out on an invoice. So if a company has maybe Sage, QuickBooks, or Xero, I always say it's a step up from those systems. It generally competes with a NetSuite or Acumatica. But really, it's a modular system. So it's meant to grow as a company grows. No company is essentially too small for Business Central. A company could just start out with the accounting system and then add on some of these more complex features as they get bigger. And then we have Sales Professional, the other application within that Dynamics 365 suite. So this is really the CRM system for small businesses. So it's really meant for the sales team. It can do account and contact management. It can also track a sales pipeline. So it can track leads and opportunities and that process flow that a salesperson needs to go through for the complete sales cycle. It can allow a salesperson to create sales quotes or orders or invoices in the system. And it also has some light marketing and campaign capabilities. I think the best seller for this system is the tracking of interactions on a contact or an opportunity level. So it can track emails and notes and tasks and calls or follow-up activities all in a single view for that salesperson. I think the biggest benefit and differentiator between these products and its competitors is the fact that it has the entire Microsoft ecosystem behind it. So Microsoft puts a big emphasis on integrating Business Central and Sales Professional into the M365 suite. This means that it's really easy to import or export data from these systems to Excel, which everyone loves. In your Outlook, you can have Business Central or Sales Professional, depending on what role a user is playing, but that can be built into Outlook to easily see contacts, or from a Business Central perspective, customers or vendors all in one view. So you can see maybe the history you've done with the contact, or even create a sales order or a purchase order straight from Outlook in that screen. And then not shown on this page, but you've also got the Power Platform aspect as well, where it's really easy to integrate these databases with the Power Platform, right? So you can build out further processes through Automate, or even use maybe Power BI for building out visuals and KPIs to connect those systems. So our professional services offering, we basically do everything fixed price. We take what module a company needs. For instance, if we're looking at Business Central, do they need inventory or not? But we do that, and we do a fixed scope, fixed price offering with each module. So we've got two different options that a client can utilize. We have what we call Launchpad on the left. But it's for small businesses that have low complexity and really want to do the work themselves. So this is good for someone who may normally start with QuickBooks for their accounting system, but instead wants to start with a system that they won't outgrow. So it's going to be a self-guided implementation route, similar to how one would normally self-implement QuickBooks, but it's got on the back end a knowledge base portal and support access for help as they're implementing. The other offering on the right hand of the screen is actually with a consultant and a defined project plan to help a company step by step migrate and learn the new system. So this is going to be more of a 4 to 8 week long process with our team and the customer. Our goal with both is to help smaller companies get into these products where traditionally they were too expensive. So we try to keep the pricing as low as possible for both routes. And regardless of what plan a customer chooses, the licenses for these products stay with the partner yourselves. And there's also a margin that you receive for the professional services the customer goes with. So our main goal is for you to continue your relationship with the customers and just be able to offer this new offering for people who want help with the CRM, accounting, or operations platform. We know that understanding an ERP or CRM system can be difficult and time consuming. So we just want to support your customer in that aspect and leave the rest of the relationship with you. So as I said, this allows you to grow that Dynamics licensing, add that to your wheelhouse. And it also just in general makes your customers a bit more sticky on the Microsoft products, because now their ERP and CRM system is integrated in M365 and the Power Platform. So kind of going through our sales process, basically, we have a team that can help with the sales process and guide your customer to what kind of professional services they need, whether it be Launchpad or that fixed scope offering. So really, we just ask that you introduce us to the customer, and we're happy to take it from there, do the scoping and all of that. We typically start with a 10-minute form that the customer fills out that just asks them questions about the functionality and implementation approach that they want. And then we can hop on a demo with them and also provide that fixed price proposal pretty quickly, just to be upfront about the costing. And then from there on, we're happy to support them and answer any questions up until they're ready to make that decision. So some other things that we've done with partners just to help introduce this new offering is help with go-to-market campaigns with your marketing team. And we've even done webinars for your customer base just to learn more about Business Central and Sales Professional and kind of get those words in their head. We're also happy to train your internal sales team or person so that they can just high level understand when an opportunity fits with this offering and kind of how to spot the opportunity in the first place. And then finally, we know some customers, right, they may be too complex or need more functionality than what this professional service can offer. So for these, we're happy to kind of connect you to referring partners with within the Pax8 channel that can just continue to support your customers' needs. So overall, we're just excited to get to work with you guys and want to support in any way. So with that, I hope to talk to a lot of you guys soon, but I will pass it on.
Thanks, Molly. So I hope you guys all got from Molly's presentation that, Pax8 is here to support you as an MSP. So we are not going to be competing with anybody. All these leads, they need somewhere to go. So this is super important to make sure that hey, we are here to support you. Molly, I do have one question for you, if you don't mind, before I let you run off. Now, we have somebody that's asking, does the Pax8 Bam Boom integration, does that mean that maybe there might be an offering in the future that would be ConnectWise managed to Dynamics migration solutions for these MSPs?
Yeah, I know that's with our internal team as well, because obviously a lot of you guys use ConnectWise. So yeah, I think there are plans to kind of start enabling that from a partner perspective as well. We also highly suggest if you aren't using some of these products that, be the guinea pig. We can take you through the implementation and then you can kind of learn that process and pass it on to your end users. So I do know ConnectWise integration is being talked about internally though.
Excellent, excellent. Molly, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Britton, how are you doing this morning?
I'm living my best life. How are you doing?
I am doing great. Thanks for jumping on this morning to talk about Defender.
Yes, every session today has been music to my ears. We've gotten to talk about Intune, and then we're getting into Business Central. Those are the best friends of Business Premium. So I'm excited to dive into Defender, who is also a best friend to Business Premium. We've spent a lot of time over the last couple of weeks with partners in Kansas City for our security boot camp. We were just in Toronto doing partner live sessions around security. And it's incredible to bring together some of the general questions that came from those sessions. You'll be able to take these slides home with you to the office. And so some of the things we'll cover today may seem a little wordy, but that is because they are click rich for you so that you can hop off into the collateral and the reference points that are made as you're strengthening your security posture with Microsoft Security Solutions. What we're seeing, as mentioned earlier, is the way that we have worked has evolved. The way that customers interact with their partners is totally different than just a few short years ago when many of our workplaces were office bound. The hybrid work experience calls for a greater set of solutions and cloud-specific solutions at that. As we see that throughout hybrid work, productivity stayed or increased for many companies. Employees also reported better work-life experiences. Top talent now seek out remote workplaces, and hybrid work demands different skills than our partners may have had during castle and moat or firewall protected times. And we're behind the curve. This 22% is the amount of people that have strong authentication in place with Azure AD identities at the end of 2021. Just last week in our Modern Work Bootcamp, we're hearing the early numbers from 2023, and I have to say, they've only increased by a small amount. And cyber threats, unfortunately, have increased much more than this. So what can partners do to truly put security top of mind? Earlier today, we heard from Will about zero trust principles, and I'm so glad that he was able to mention that, because that is definitely a guiding set of light as a partner in order for us to be proactive in what we bring forward for our end customers, as we verify explicitly, used least privilege access, and assume breach of our digital environment. A zero trust model is a proactive and integrated approach to security. It moves across all layers of the digital landscape, explicitly and continuously verifying identities and endpoints, as well as the transactions between them. It asserts least privilege access, and it relies on intelligence, advanced protection, and real-time responses. Here's where we'll hop off into a few of the Defender pieces that help support Microsoft partners in adopting a zero trust framework approach. Defender for Endpoint and Defender for Business. Both of these solutions are endpoint protection solutions. Defender for Business is built for the SMB. It's included in your Microsoft 365 Business Premium solution, so you should get to know it well here, as well as comparing it to what's available in the Defender for Endpoint plans. I'm delighted to see that when we really do look at the endpoint offerings, which are more of the enterprise SKUs, they don't have that 300 cap that the SMB SKUs have, but the Defender for Business offer really operates like the higher tier of the endpoint plans. So it is truly a value worth digging into, especially if you're not already utilizing it for endpoint protection. Some partners may even be working with third-party products that are somewhat redundant and don't know that Defender for Business has all the capabilities that it does. So I really encourage partners to dive in and research that. And then Defender for Office 365. This one, of course, is deeply ingrained in Microsoft 365 Business Premium. We'll look a little deeper at both of these in just a couple slides. I just want to graze over some of the ones on the bottom row here, because these are going to be the more advanced workloads as you're moving into your Defender for Identity solutions, your Defender for Cloud solutions that will actually move all the way into your infrastructure, supporting security in Azure, and then of course Defender for Cloud apps. So that's acting as a security feature here in the brokerage of apps within your environments. The next slide is going to be some things that interact with and make Defender all the things that it can be, and most of these are also referenced within your Business Premium solution. Defender Vulnerability Management is a dashboard, and that is designed to help save you time and effort. What you're seeing here is the devices within the company on this dashboard. It's giving security recommendations, addressing impaired communication or devices, and it's providing some reflections of firewall protections as well as updates, antivirus, and patching. The reporting with vulnerability management is incredible, and it is also improving day by day, truly, and we have some updates in our next slide on some of that. And then you have Azure AD Identity Protection. So this is really going to automate the remediation of identity-based risks. It's also being highly informed across multiple parts of the Microsoft infrastructure security, as well as the ability to work with MFA, which should be turned on for all organizations everywhere. I won't belabor Intune. Oh, I see Kristen. What's the question?
You know, as soon as the camera comes on, I like that everybody is well aware that we've got some questions up. So Neil's asking, I mean, we're going through so much pretty quickly. So which of these are included in Business Premium and which one of these are actually add-on SKUs?
Yeah, so the incredible thing is that what we're looking at here is a side. I'll go back one slide. So on the on this slide, it is these two here, and we actually have those popped out to talk about specifically. But then once we move over into this slide, you're really looking at quite a few things that are involved with Business Premium. So you are able to retrieve your vulnerability management dashboard with Defender for Business because that is in Business Premium. You're getting Azure AD Identity Protection P1 within Business Premium. Intune is within Business Premium, and Lighthouse is available to MSPs that work with Business Premium. So this is a very Business Premium heavy slide right here. And I love that question because truly that is the solution that's built for SMB, you know, and honestly, for many enterprise level organizations, you know, using as many of those Business Premiums as they can before popping into, you know, an enterprise SKU if there's not anything additionally necessary from there.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
So we'll get right into digging into some of that Business Premium juiciness that we were talking about. Defender for Business, as we said, is the endpoint protection for SMB. So this is included in Business Premium. And what this visual provides is just an ability to have a quick glance at everything that we just spoke about. So your business standard is in the product. However, layering in Defender for Business, Intune, online archiving, and all of these things is really what makes it a premium SKU because you're getting enterprise grade security within that SMB environment. I won't belabor these links. These are definitely for you just to click through at your leisure to have a review of security guidance when it comes to least privilege access. And then there are some licensing and compliance information that's really good to know when you're working with securing, specifically endpoint securing. And then this is your layered protection of Office 365. As a partner, this is where you're going to spend most of your time when you're securing Business Premium. Because as Will mentioned earlier, there's multiple layers within the landscape that are interacting with each other. And that's why it's incredible to have tools like Nerdio that can hop in and help if this is not an environment that you're used to being into. I loved seeing the difference between someone working natively in the tools versus somebody going through those wizards that Nerdio provides. That was quite a bit of time saved. And the newest things that are happening across these tools is that Defender for Business is also a standalone product, so it can be added to other SMB products as an endpoint security protection. And it has recently had mobile threat defense added to it that is now in preview. So if that is a tool that you're using, we do encourage you to turn the preview on so that you can go ahead and get these mobile threat defense properties available within that. Additionally, the reporting is improving all the way across the board for Business Premium, and I imagine that that will be a trend that will continue. The security summaries that help customers understand what's going on, including like the Microsoft Secure Score, as well as the vulnerability management scores that we spoke about on the last slides, are available now all the way through Microsoft 365 Lighthouse, which means that if you are working with Lighthouse to help manage your tenants and get a high-level overview of their security from that panel, you'll be able to see these alerts now in the same place, making it where we don't have to hop out and move into a different management portal to get these much-needed alerts. And I'll wrap this up by sharing what's new in security at Pax8. So you heard from Nerdio and the ways that they can help you in supporting Intune. And we also heard about some great ways to grow your business through business applications. But the way that we can deeply support you on this journey to becoming a stronger and more secure partner is providing security assessments that we have available, where you can truly look at the entire environment, checking for vulnerabilities, redundancies, and security risks. This is available both in the US and in Canada. And we also have professional services. So if you're not quite ready to work with Nerdio and you'd like someone to lean in and help you lift the security enablement of your end customer, Pax8 can do just that. We've recently released an offer that helps with clients who are adopting M365 Business Premium to match their security to CIS benchmarks. This is allowing you to pursue a security framework, truly going to market proactively to do things before it's too late, instead of allowing a breach to occur and then beginning the security conversation. And we want for our partners to definitely be proactive in this space, leading the charge as thought leaders about proactive security measures. And because we desire that, we made this offer for you so that we can lean in to help. What you'll see on this slide is some of the CIS benchmarks that things are actually being mapped to. You would want to get in touch with your CAM, go ahead and reach out to the pro services team if this is interesting to you, and then keep your eyes peeled because we'll have other offers coming forward for things like SharePoint and more modern workplace ahead. Were there any questions about those last couple slides? Because I know that they were pretty information heavy.
I think we are still rocking and rolling.
Awesome. Well, then we'll get to the fun stuff here at the end. There's been questions all week long after having Modern Work Bootcamp last week about AI and what's going on for Microsoft here in this space. And truly, I'm sure everyone's seen Copilot popping up across their LinkedIn feeds. So we will be staying plugged in with you as the Copilot journey goes on with Microsoft. Security Copilot was mentioned, and it is going to actually help to summarize insights from things like Sentinel, Defender, and Intune, helping to streamline response time. Then you have M365 Copilot that's going to integrate into M365 and D365 across all 18 of the solutions available there. I know also this week, I think you're talking about AI on Technically Unraveled, is that right?
We sure are. So please make sure that you tune in to Technically Unraveled this week. Britton, thank you so much. That was a ton of content. So I want to say thank you for hanging in there, going through that with everybody. And I know you'll be back here soon with us.
Yeah.
All right. So Britton gave us the perfect lead in here. So I want to talk about a couple of things. One, the recording for this. If you missed anything, if you want to go back, if you said, hey, you know what, I might not have gotten a screenshot of a slide, everything's going to be available on YouTube. So if you go to youtube.com/Pax8Cloud, there's a ton of content. And if you look across the top right here, you're going to have videos. That's where all of the live recordings from these are going to be. We also have live shows too. So there's 3 live shows that occur weekly. So this first one that you see on the left-hand side, this is Rex, Frank, and team from our Academy team. They are going to be live every single Tuesday. You've got myself, and we bring on great hosts like Matt Batterby. We're going to talk about Copilot this week. That is every Thursday. And you've got Matt, Lee, and Dom every single Friday going through new topics for cybersecurity. So we are pushing out so much content to you. So please make sure that you're liking, sharing, subscribing, going to YouTube, because that is where we're posting everything for the time being. Now, want to make sure we hit on Beyond, because it is already May. This is coming up so quick on us. I am very excited. It's our first big event here. So let's go through what should you expect. Now, we get a lot of questions to our account team on who should go. Does it make sense for us to be there? Guys, there's 5 different personas. And I know that everybody's really excited about the most recent one we added being cybersecurity, but it's immersive, it's hands-on. There's real life scenarios that are going to be here. So I want to make sure that if you're interested, even if you have some questions, reach out to your account team. They're happy to go through all of this with you. But I know that the people that are going to be there, you're going to get so much out of it. I know that we are all excited to host, and I look forward to seeing a lot of you there. Please make sure you're clicking on that. I think Henry and everybody on the back end, they're posting the links in the chat for you. I want to make sure we talk about this as well, because this is a great free resource. Guys, I love some free resources. This is North America only. I do want to call that out. Now, these are hands-on labs. Now, scan this QR code, go to the link, whatever's easiest for you. Sign up for these. We've had some great feedback that everybody's liking these. And if you have any questions, reach out to us, but want to make sure that we're socializing these. There's a lot of text on this screen, everybody. So don't worry, lots of resources. You can take a quick screenshot of this, or we would make sure that it's available to you on YouTube later. But lots of resources from Defender, our GDAP walking deck. We've got Pax8 landing pages, FX rates, and as always, you can go to that YouTube. Now, I want to see if we have any questions really quick. Britton, I'm going to bring you on for just a moment, if you don't mind, because I know as soon as we start talking about AI, people want to know more about Copilot. Now, any idea? I know that Copilot's available for people to start playing with at this moment. Now, how do they get access to this? Oh, I think she's on mute. Let's see.
That's right.
There we go.
Double muted on me. So yeah, we can provide the direct in chat links for you to go ahead and get connected to the sites. There are individual sites for each of the co-pilots that allows you to opt in to what's going on with them. And someone asked about what's available. Of course, they're going to be bringing people into those previews as they grow. So you want to go ahead and get signed up early so that as things advance, that you're one of the first people in line to have access to them.
Excellent, excellent. And I know that Matt and I will talk about that a little bit more this Thursday, so please make sure you jump in. Britton, thank you. Programs team, I think you are getting out of this with little to no questions at the end, so we are going to keep on rolling, but I do want to say a big thank you for everybody tuning in. I look forward to seeing you the next time. We will not have one in June, but we will keep these going in July. If you have any questions, reach out to everybody, but thank you so much. We'll see you all soon.